Welcome to this week's installment of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don Henninger. I'm Don. With me is my podcast partner and cleanup hitter, Kevin Maxwell.
I thought you were going to say home run guy.
I could have said home run. But
Cleanup hitter is a good one. I like it.
More important, right?
Yep.
You got to bring them all in, man.
Yep.
And that's what you do every week. You bring them all in.
Thanks, Don.
Let's keep on doing it. You know, speaking about bringing them all in, can you believe that another Cactus League season has come and gone already?
We're fast.
How many games you go to?
This will be my fifth.
That's great because you know what? I got shut out this year.
You did?
Just busy schedules and all that kind of stuff. I haven't made it to one game.
You got the governor. You're working for the governor and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's no excuse. You know, I have no excuses. I feel pretty lame right now, but I love it at heart. I've been to many games in the past, and today we're going to get a recap of how things played out in Scottsdale from Sara Grauf, and she's Senior Vice President for their San Fransico Giants. She's in charge of their spring training operations here in Scottsdale. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. Have you been with the Giants almost, I think, your entire career? You started 21 years ago, and you only look 25, so I don't know how that's possible. As an intern in the club's community relations department. What a cool journey that's been for a career standpoint, right? She's a graduate of the University of California at Berkeley, a board member for Leadership San Francisco, and she serves on the board of Experience Scottsdale right here, too. She lives in California, but I'm betting you spent a lot of time in Arizona this time of year, right?
Absolutely. It's home away from home.
So we're done. The season's here and gone. How was the past season? How'd it go?
Well, it was a quote unquote normal season, which was nice. You know, we've been coming off a couple rough years between COVID and lockouts and that sort of thing. So it was great to be able to be back here, get things up and running as usual, kind of back to that mid-February timeframe and really get a good, 6 weeks out here.
You know, the first full season in what, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
It's amazing, especially we had all those renovations, back in 2019, right before COVID.
We did all the work and then we had to shut everything down.
Beautiful facilities, beautiful upgrades, and then COVID.
Right.
And then we're saying, okay, next year, let's go, and then lockout.
Yeah.
And so this year, with the exception of maybe one or two rainouts, which never happened here, but they did this year for once or twice. Outside, that's been a pretty good season, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was nice and sunny out here, which is not what we're having back in Northern California. So we love it.
Oh, you're right. When you head back there, you're going to be probably in some pretty wet, floody kind of conditions over there, huh? Yeah. Did you do okay over there? Is everything's fine?
Everything's good. You know, we had a couple loose barges in our bay the other day, but we're working through it.
Well, good luck when you get back there. So how much advanced prep work does it take to get ready for spring training here in Arizona?
I mean, what's great is we've been here so long and we have such great relationships here that everybody kind of knows what's happening. Our partnership with the City of Scottsdale is amazing. We've got DNC that's out there operating the ballpark from a food and beverage perspective. So people kind of know their role. We spend, a few weeks out here toward the end of January. Middle of January is really when the team comes out. We send one or two folks out just to start dusting off the cobwebs and standing things up. And then obviously just depending on exactly when we're bringing in our players, it's really first getting ready for the baseball operations to move in. And then we really start kind of the fan preparations.
So we've got baseball operations here. We all know about that, team players and all that. But how many people have to work on the business side to make things happen here?
Well, we run a pretty lean, mean operation out here. So unlike some clubs, we actually bring some folks, a small handful of folks from San Francisco. So we have two main operations people that are really running kind of our stadium, all of our guest services and that sort of thing. And then we've got one or two people that really hold down the ticket office front because we've got to take care of all those fans that are coming in. Right. But then a lot of it's done remotely too. Like a lot of the marketing and everything else, we just kind of work that out in Northern California and then kind of bring a smaller team down here. And then we have people that rotate through all through the time. So we've got, obviously, we need support on everything. You think about the behind the scenes stuff like the IT and everything. And then some of our executives kind of rotate through, throughout the season as well. Right. So we've got a lot of coverage out here.
Yeah, a lot of bases to cover, so to speak, right? Yeah. Gosh. So when you're here, what does your job look like? What's a day in, day out kind of, if there is a day in, day kind of routine for you?
Yeah, every day's a little bit different. But we really, there's two people on our team, Ryan Greenberg and Hannah Schenk, and they really run the operations of this thing. So they are doing everything. They are, finding the staff locally that ends up operating the ballpark. They're working closely with the concessionaires. They're making sure that if we're seeing inclement weather coming in, that we're coordinating effectively with our baseball ops teams. So a lot of the pressure is really on them. And then there's a lot of hospitality that we do out here. So we have the Charos that we have a partnership with. We have Giants Vacations, which brings in groups of folks. And then we bring a lot of clients and partnerships and other, groups from California out here with us as well. So there's a lot of that event management that goes on as well. So they handle a lot of that stuff. When I'm here, I'm really just kind of checking in, make sure things are going okay, being there as a support to them. And then, should there be any unforeseen circumstances like a rain out or a major injury or anything like that, I just kind of help make sure that we've got communications and plans in place for all of that.
Been here for a long time, since the early 80s, right?
We have. We love this place. We don't want to go anywhere. We've got the perfect home in Old Town.
We don't want you going anywhere, Kevin.
not
These
at
guys
all.
are like an institution.
I was reflecting back this morning about trying to remember what it must have been like when they were back in Casa Grande in the 50s.
Yeah,
right. Have you ever been down there and seen that facility down there?
No, but you know, it's kind of weird. My very first year in Arizona, I was in Yuma, and the San Diego Padres were still training in Yuma.
Oh, okay.
And that was a big deal when you're in Yuma. There's nothing else really going on.
Right.
And, you know, they don't do that anymore because the traveling was just a 3-hour drive down there.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal in Yuma. Same thing as at Casa Grande, probably.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that it must have been a real coup for the Charros to get negotiate with the Giants. I guess it was the Giants back. I mean, I think the Charros were the ones that actually said, come to Scottsdale. And we'll help build you a facility.
Who else helped do that?
Who?
Jim Bruner.
Jim Bruner, right? Well, that's right.
Had him last week. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
In his book, he has a whole bunch of coverage of that, so it's kind of cool. Yeah.
And it's really been a great partnership. I mean, we love Old Town. We think it's amazing for our fans, but the whole business community gets behind it. The Charros, again, we think it's great. We don't go on the Charro ride or do any of that kind of stuff, but we have a lot of fun with them when we're in town, and it's great to be able to impact the local community in such a positive way when we are out here.
Should get a couple of clients to go on a Charros.
I thought one guy went one year.
We did. Jake.
Yeah. Jake went.
Did he go?
Jake went.
Yeah, okay.
That was like 2 years ago, I think.
On one of the rides you were on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been for like 20 years, about 15 years, but that's a real kick. That's a real Arizona thing to do, right? Yeah. Your clients must love coming to watch spring training in March in Old Town. You can set them up and shop down here if they want to stay downtown. You can walk to the stadium. What a perfect setup it is.
Oh, it's amazing. They love it. I mean, a lot of them come year after year and can't wait to get their invitation, every spring when it rolls around. So it is. I mean, we've built great relationships out here. That's part of why, we're with Experience Scottsdale. The city's been so supportive, helping get through some stadium renovations and other things, with more to come for fan-facing stuff in the coming years. So it's been great.
How do you work with the city? Is a lot of city staffers involved? Do you work in partnership with? I know you have the big overall lease, and that's set now. I think you're here till at least the lease says 2044 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're here for a long time.
We're here for a while.
That's awesome. But day to day, a lot of interaction with the city staff.
A lot of particularly the stadium staff, just because again, it's really operating the facility and managing that when we're here, because there's so much long-standing relationship here and a lot of people that have been in these conversations for years. We kind of know how everything else works. But again, we try to make sure that we're having, like I said, a positive impact outside of just baseball as well. And so when we can do things like bringing the bananas into town or doing any of that, we want to make sure to maintain all of those relationships. So we do try to make sure that we're encouraging, people to be using Scottsdale local, hotels and restaurants and everything else when we're bringing people into town, whether that's for spring training or even throughout the season when they're coming to watch a Diamondbacks game or do anything else.
Good point. I think Scottsdale Stadium is the best stadium in the Cactus League.
It's my favorite.
Don't you think?
It's just it's not the biggest, but it's the most intimate to me.
Yeah, see what there's 12,000 capacity, so it's big enough, right?
Yeah.
But there was a time, I don't know, 10 years ago when there was a chance the Cactus League was going to lose its teams to the Grapefruit League. That's another Jim Bruner story as well. But now we're at the point now where I think it's equal 15 teams here, 15 teams in Florida, right? So we're here to stay in terms of strength and numbers. So that's been pretty cool to see over the years.
Yeah. And you're right. There has been a lot of, development and activity amongst these Cactus League teams and their facilities. And, we love ours. We put a large investment into the player facilities and that sort of thing. But we love the character of Scottsdale Stadium and love where it is. And you talk about the Casa Grande days. And we remember when Scottsdale Stadium had some of that feel where people were bringing in some folding chairs. And, we don't want to lose any of that either. So trying to strike the right balance out there.
It's nice to see old time baseball because you get some of the best major league parks now, including a pretty cool one in San Francisco. They have that old time feel. Yeah. It's kind of reviving the tradition and the nostalgic value of baseball. And we just have had opening day now. And I was listening to some folks on the talk radio shows, sports radio shows, talking about opening day is only really a thing in baseball. It's like historic and traditional, and people skip school. And I can remember growing up in Pittsburgh, going to school with a transistor radio, listening to either opening day or
Roberto Clemente games.
I used to skip school for opening day. It was like, that was a get out of jail free card.
It was like a holiday. Nobody cared back then either. It was great. It'd be funny to see. I'm going back long enough. You had these transistor radios with the one plug and the earbud that go in your ear. You'd see half the kids in class would be having a little plug. Teachers like, whatever. Yeah. That was fun. But the traditional aspect of baseball is pretty cool. You've been going to games here for a long time, Kevin. Yeah.
I remember coming down here in the 80s when my mom lived here and I was living in Utah, and I'd come down here and visit for the spring, for spring, and I remember reading the paper in the morning, drinking coffee, going, what game should I go to today?
Yeah.
And it was, you could walk up and just, buy a ticket just a couple, hours in advance and go to the game. You can't really do that much anymore. It's hard.
So how do you measure success on the spring training? So who cares about wins and losses? That's just getting ready for the season.
How many smiling fans do you have coming out of that place?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, financially, you want to make sure that you're, selling tickets and having concessions run and all of that. But it's really about setting the tone for the season. It's about getting these people warmed up, getting them ready for baseball again, making sure that they feel a connection to our players. We put a lot of focus on that fan accessibility and making sure that they feel like it really is that accessible family environment, just to get them all warmed up and ready to go once the season starts in San Francisco.
Got to start the connections now, right? I wonder how many people from Arizona, now that they're Giants fans, since you're in Scottsdale, how many people from Scottsdale go over to Candlestick? Not used to be Candlestick, but how many go to San Francisco now?
Yeah.
Is there a pipeline that goes back and forth? Do you work with that as well?
We do. We definitely have season ticket members in Scottsdale from the San Francisco market who come out here every year. They rent their places, they stay for the whole month, and they love it. And then definitely, I do think that the local community, like I said, they've embraced it. They have some really cherished memories from their spring training days. And so why not? If you can make a short jaunt to San Francisco and catch our team playing in the big league ballpark too, I'm sure a lot of them make it that way.
What's the buzz on the team this year? What's the outlook?
We're ready. We are so ready. We want to do this, We're going to get our pitchers out there. We're excited to see how the rule changes impact the game. But we're just, like I said, we're getting the guys back together. Everybody's, feeling pretty good right now. And so we're going to start charging hard.
What kind of feedback are you getting on the rules changes? What are fans telling you?
It's all anecdotal at this point, but it's really positive so far. Fans are staying engaged. You start to see little things like we were just talking earlier about the game time has decreased, about 26 or so minutes.
Yeah.
So you're seeing it make a difference there. And then you just start, even like the little clips that you're seeing, guys are getting more aggressive on the bags. They're going to try to take a couple more bases if they can. So I think it's going to be a fun season to watch.
One of the challenges for baseball is keeping younger people involved with it, and that's probably something, all the clubs are probably worried about. How do we keep younger people active with games? Part of the rule changes, I think, is designed to do that, to shorten the games particularly. Mm-hmm. But what's the effort? What are you thinking about in terms of spring training is different. You come there, doesn't matter who wins or loses. You want to win, root for your winner anyway, but it doesn't really matter. You're there to have fun, be in the sunshine, enjoy a couple of beers, whatever. But how do you promote the game for the youthful audience now that's coming up and is less willing to make that kind of time investment?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different for all clubs. Like for us right now, we're really leaning into San Francisco is unique, and there is nothing like San Francisco baseball, right? That's even our tagline this year, is nothing like it. So we are talking about things like it's not just the game, it's also sharing garlic fries with your family. It's seeing Lucille out in the fan lot and riding down the Coke bottle slides. There are so many. You're riding a kayak up to right field, right? There are so many things that our ballpark and the experience of baseball has to offer that you don't need to be a diehard baseball fan to really appreciate it. And so we're just trying to, build that funnel a little bit and get people to see just what a fun time it is and just what an experience, a social outing it can be.
It's cool to do that. I love the fact you get kayaks out in the water, catch home run balls in San Francisco. That's cool.
Yeah.
Lucille. So let me ask you this, because I know that the relationship between the City of Scottsdale and the Giants is very, very close and very, very. But does it permeate throughout the organization? Obviously, I don't see how it would really translate to the on-field production. But how does it permeate the organization?
There's a little bit in terms of, like I said, market sharing. Like we want to make sure that Experience Scottsdale has some access to our fans, and so there's some partnership relationships there. Certainly, the Scottsdale market has been very helpful when we're trying to do anything. Even the Bananas game. We wanted to bring this here because we know it's another activation for the Scottsdale market. We could have done it somewhere else, but we thought, why not? This is a great spot for it. So we really do try to kind of keep connected in those ways outside of just the spring training season. So
are you saying that the reason the Banana game's here is because of relationship with Scottsdale, Experience Scottsdale, probably? Or
the city was extremely supportive of it. So we started talking to the Bananas, and then we said, we think this is great. We think it's a good thing for the local economy as well. So went to Karen Churchard and her team and Steve Gigama with the city, and everybody kind of got behind it and helped us walk through the process of getting the permitting and all of that. And so now, we get this amazing spectacle tonight that hopefully we'll have a bunch of fans out there for, and they're going to have a great time.
I think you're going to have a bunch of fans.
Yeah. They're already lining up and buying merch, so we're ready.
It's sold out, though. That Bananas has become a hot ticket everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So, and the Charles relationship that's been steady throughout all these years, right? And isn't it amazing what the Charles are able to do to give back to the community? That's,
it's
in partnership with you guys. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's interesting too, because obviously there's transition of relationships, right? We have a new like baseball chair every year and that sort of thing.
Right.
But the consistency of just the commitment to the community and the partnership that we have, we all want to put on a great experience at spring training, and then we all want to give back to the community at the end of the day. So it is nice to see that that's still going strong. And when you talk about, it going beyond the team, like, yeah, we definitely have quite a few members on our spring training operations team that have good relationships with the Charros. So it goes deeper. We host a joint event every year where we have our full team come out that some of the Charros are invited to, and we kind of really try to bring them in because it is a family out here.
It's really cool. Yeah.
It takes a village.
And the players like coming here too, I'm sure, right?
Oh, they love it. How could you not, right? I mean, you're going to be somewhere for 6 weeks. Wouldn't you want to be here in the spring?
A lot of players end up living here. That's where their full-time homes are after the end of the season, because what better place to live in the winter, Arizona or Florida, but I'd take Arizona.
Yeah. And we've got, we spent not just on the stadium improvements, we now have our home anchored in Papago. So it's really nice for the guys too, because if they are coming in and doing workouts off season or rehab and that sort of thing, I mean, we are truly blessed that we have 2 incredible facilities now to be working with. So when you talk about solidifying it for the long haul, we're here.
Right there. Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about your job back in San Francisco. So you're only here for 1 month or whatever out of the year, but then the bulk of your job is still back in San Francisco. But tell us what you do back there. What's that all? You got your hands full back there, but all good stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dabble in a little bit of everything.
Right.
Certainly we have a focus on the fan experience. So making sure that for baseball, first and foremost, all of our fans have a really good time when they're there. So that may be anything from making sure that our concessions operations are moving smoothly to that we're coordinating transportation efforts with the city and thinking about the entire fan journey. We certainly host a lot of game day events there as well. So my team helps support all of those for the internal events. And then we keep that ballpark moving every day that the team's not there. So we have a very robust calendar of corporate events and social events, concerts, soccer matches, that sort of thing. We service all of those events. And then we're also, in our spare time, building a new neighborhood in San Francisco, just across the cove from the ballpark. And so the team is really engaged in the public space planning, the parks management, and placing a lot of the retail there. So really trying to build a vibrant, dynamic community that now surrounds our ballpark.
Well, you're also involved in leadership in San Francisco, as you're part of San Francisco Leadership, which I assume is probably like our greater Phoenix leadership organization here.
Yep.
A lot of CEOs that make things happen in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's everything. It's CEOs, it's nonprofit groups, it's, public-private partnerships. And it's really about, I think particularly when you're a sports brand, you realize that it's a responsibility to represent that brand and to represent that community and just how much impact you have, particularly in tough times. I mean, we talk about what sport does when we go through tough social things, tough economic times, right? I mean, we're still trying to get people to come back into the city, and the Giants want to be a part of that. And we want to figure out how we can contribute to all of those efforts that the city needs as well. So it is really nice to be engaged. We're heavily involved with San Francisco travel as well. And again, our relationship with Experience Scottsdale is an extension of that because, it's the people like Rachel and it's people like Karen Churchard and all of those folks who are doing it and making sure to drive, all of the traffic here. So
that's cool. So sports teams can have a real personality and give a brand for the city. It happened a lot in my hometown of Pittsburgh. We had the Steelers and the Pirates. Once in a long time ago, the Pirates were really good. Not now. Of course, they're undefeated this year so far, having won their first game.
And a great ballpark.
And a fantastic ball. I've been there a couple of times. I love that ballpark. If we just put a good team in that ballpark, it would be really awesome. I love your ballpark too. I've been to your ballpark there. I also had a game at Candlestick probably, 20 years ago, which I thought was kind of charming too. That was fun. I'll never forget the game in San Francisco though. I was in a business conference and decided to skip out for the afternoon, just went down to Candlestick Park. And it was like 80 degrees and warm where I was in the business meeting, and I went to Candlestick. I've never been so cold
Needed
in
your
my
jacket.
life.
Yeah, probably got blown around a little bit.
It was like June. I'm like, what is good? It was sunny, but it was cold. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was a fun experience.
Yeah, we remember Candlestick fondly, but we are very, very happy in our home.
I'm sure you are, for sure. You do things like plan celebrations when you win the World Series.
I do. Yeah. And I'd like to do more of those.
That wasn't that long ago.
It makes for a pretty frenetic time, but I would welcome it with open arms again. Yeah, it really is. It's a full team effort when something like that happens. And so there's a variety of folks that are involved in trying to coordinate everything from how are you taking care of your players in your front office and getting everybody, through the streets of San Francisco, but also just how are you engaging the community to celebrate. There's a lot to organize in a very short amount of time when that happens. So, it's a lot of fun though. It's some incredible memories that I have. I thought it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Lucky for me, it was 3 times an opportunity.
Right,
so let's make it 5 or 6.
Why not? Why stop there, right?
Yeah, you have some great ownership, right? I mean, obviously your owners are very committed and you have a great ownership group. They've been pretty consistent, right? You've been there for a while now?
Yeah, we do. We have a very, very committed ownership group. I mean, they saved our team basically, right? And built our ballpark and, really helped see with a long-term vision of what the San Francisco Giants meant to the community. They trust us a lot. They give us a lot of freedom and flexibility. And so we're really, really fortunate to be in the situation we're in.
Well, you guys have a good history of winning too, so it always helps when your organization's successful, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Hands off if you're winning. Let them keep them going. Why mess now, right?
Yeah. Who's your GM?
Farhan. Well, our GM, we have Farhan Zaidi, who's our president of baseball operations. Yeah, and then we've got a variety of people. We've got Jeremy Shelley, who's over there, and then obviously, as you guys know, we've got Gabe Kapler managing the team.
That's right. Okay.
What else do you have coming up at your stadium this year that you're planning for besides baseball?
Like I said, we've got a lot of events coming in. So we've got some, pickleball that's going to be happening. We've got 3 Grateful Dead shows that'll be happening.
Really?
We've got a variety of, sporting events. Yeah. So it's going to be a pretty busy year. We have a race that we host every year. We do things like golf and Spartan race. So there's a lot on the books.
Pickleball is becoming big everywhere. Now you're going to have a pickleball tournament at the stadium?
Yeah, it's going to be in a couple places. So they're utilizing a couple baseball venues and stuff. So we're going to see how this goes.
That's pretty cool. We've been talking about pickleball now and then. They're talking about a sport that's kind of really grown out of control. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. You playing yet?
I'm playing this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing Saturday. Tomorrow.
There you go.
Don't hurt yourself, all right?
Yeah.
Pickleball injuries are on the rise too, man. I know it. Has nothing to do with the age demographic of people who are playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah. Talk about the WBC this year. How'd that get momentum to the organizations and into spring training?
I mean, it was pretty incredible. You saw those storylines, right? When you've got Ohtani and Trout out there closing things down.
This year seemed like I was every 2 years.
Yeah, it was every couple of years, but obviously with COVID and stuff, things moved around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
man, it seemed like this year was way more exciting than it ever been before. Maybe I was missing it before, but I watched every game.
I think it was, and I think a lot of that is like media access and that sort of thing too. Like we've really figured out, the players take a lot of pride in that opportunity, and so I think you saw a lot of that personality come through. I mean, you saw the clips of the Nespresso machines in the Italian dugout and all of that kind of stuff, and so there was just. It was the personality, it was the pride, it was the game really bringing the world together in a way that previously it was a little bit more, I would say, staged. And it's getting really authentic, and the international communities are really embracing the game. The Giants are going to be playing the Padres down in San Diego at the end of April, so it's another chance to really kind of continue to grow the game and embrace fans outside of our local markets.
That's really cool, huh?
Yeah. So did you see any WBC games?
I have not. No.
Did you on TV or anything? You saw them on TV?
Just bits and pieces, yeah.
I just thought it was tremendously exciting this year.
Yeah, well, this was a big year for it.
Yeah.
Maybe the most exciting year ever.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I know a bunch of people flew into town for the games too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
A lot of my friends came in from out of town to watch the WBC games.
That's pretty cool. So what do you do in your downtime?
What downtime?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, most people say in their downtime, I go to baseball games.
Yeah,
right?
No, I chase my little kids around, which is great. Yeah, it keeps me really busy. Look, I live in the Bay Area, so we get to get outdoors a lot. Get to enjoy hiking and just being in a beautiful area. Yeah.
Love that city. Like go there as many times as I can,
Yep.
And the wine industry is just a little bit north of there. So it's
definitely do that a little bit as well. Yeah.
So it's been fun. Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Kevin, you got any other questions for Sarah?
No, I don't. I just want to thank her for coming on, and we've been trying to get her on for a while now. And so it worked out
Kevin,
great.
I forgot. Pete Patia. I mean, how can I forget? We talk about one of our off-season pickups, right?
Right.
He joined our club from the Astros, and we couldn't be happier there.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. So
I'm
sorry, Pete.
the name I was trying to think of. I can't remember. Brian, who was your
Brian Sabian?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's along with the organization?
No. He's not anymore. Yeah. So we've had some transition in our leadership group, and he's doing some stuff with the Yankees now. So.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Good GM.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We had some success.
You think so? Yeah, I think.
Yeah. He always got some Diamondback killers. So
reminds me of the Moneyball movie. Ever see that?
Oh yeah,
about the Oakland Athletics story. That was pretty cool too. Yeah,
Billy Bean. So Don, okay, I got a little bit information for you here. Did you know that Cactus League attendance jumped 34% this year?
I did not know that.
Yeah, 1.6 million fans visited ballparks in 2023, and had it not been for 7 rainouts, it would have been the biggest attendance ever.
Really?
Yeah, just a teeny bit lower than 2019. Looks like in 2023 we had 1.631 million visitors, and the average was 7,221 people per game.
Wow.
Just a little bit down. In 2019, it was 7,900 per game. So just a little bit below. Those rainouts definitely kicked us out. But anyway, obviously really successful, right? 45,000 fans who attended the games also came to the World Baseball Classic, which you're talking about earlier.
Right.
Yeah. 2022 attendance was 728,000 for 36 games, excuse me, averaging 53,000, 5,300. So that down. The COVID years were down. Obviously, the lockout, the work stoppage affected it. So like you just mentioned, we're back to a full schedule now, and it's really great to see.
We had 7 rainouts.
Yeah.
We never have 7 rainouts.
I think they were all on the same day. I mean, there was going to be a double header over at Salt River and ours. Right? That's 3 right there.
Yeah,
so.
It's hard to rain out a game in Arizona. Mm-hmm. You know, it might rain for a little bit, and hardly ever does, but it might rain for a little bit, but not enough usually to stop a game.
Yeah.
So 7 rainouts seems like, I wonder how that fits in the record book for rainouts.
I don't know.
Maybe a future analytics will take me there, huh?
Dig that up for next week, man.
I love
the bottom line of those stats is fans are ready for baseball, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I like to hear.
And I like what you said about, how do you gauge your success and how many fans are walking out. I mean, every single game I went to this year, and I went to 4 or 5, the fans are just, they're having so much fun. I have fun. Everybody has fun.
Spring training is, what better way to spend time in the sunshine, watching a little baseball, getting together with friends again.
Yeah. I mean, you probably saw it for us, like when we had Sergio Romo out here and his interaction with our fans. I mean, that's a special moment. You don't get to replace that, but you also don't get to do that many places unless you have this intimate spring experience. So it's moments like that really make you realize just how lucky we are to work in this business.
And it's the intimate piece. There's no seat's a bad seat. Every seat's up close to the field, and so you get to see players up close and personal and just have a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your former players come back a lot too and really get engaged with the team, don't they?
We do. We have quite a few that have come back through. I mean, Buster Posey is one of our owners now.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah. But you see a lot of guys coming through here. Will Clark comes in every once in a while. We've got Barry Bonds in the dugout sometimes. So it just really depends, but they like giving back. They love the game.
Yeah.
Why would you want to leave?
Right.
Well, Andy, we're sorry you're leaving because we always like adopting the Giants for March in Scottsdale.
Yeah. We'll be back.
Our team, we'll see you next year for sure. But we get a chance to call the Giants our own team there for at least a month every year, and that's pretty cool.
My Giants gear is going to be going in the drawer for a little bit, but it'll be out soon again.
It'll be here. Next March will be here before you know it.
That's right.
That's the way it works. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for taking time out with us today. I know you're on the road back and forth between San Francisco and Scottsdale, and the fact that you could stop by today and share the good news of what's happening with the Giants is awesome. And so just keep it going, and we'll love to see you here next year for sure.
Thanks so much.
Thanks to all of you for listening. We'll be back with you again next week. Next edition, Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.